You know. Let's have a look at what Nigel Farage was doing this morning, because there's a big farmers' protest going on today. Thousands and thousands of tractors heading to London. Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform, had this to say.
And from what I can see, Joe Public is getting behind the concept that the family farm should not be driven out of existence. So politically, I think we can win this. And what's really exciting is other groups are getting on board too. Because this IHT, it isn't just the farms that it hits, it's family businesses as well. In fact, inheritance tax, when you think about it, it's on money that we paid tax on already. The whole thing's monstrous. So I think the country now is going to come together with lots of different groups, and let's just stand up and say no to death taxes, full stop. End death taxes. They're wrong, they're immoral at every level.
Yep, and that's exactly where Reform are. I just had Nigel Huddleston on trying to make out that the Conservatives would also do away with it, but I don't remember Kemi Badenoch saying it. I'm sure she did, but whenever she says things, you don't remember her saying them. That's the problem, I would say, for them. Isabel Oakeshott's here, Talks International editor. Isabel, very good morning to you.
Morning. I couldn't agree more with Nigel about death taxes. They are so pernicious. We've just, in my family, we've just sold my mother's little flat in central London that she bought in the 1960s. Right. And it was amazing to see how much that was bought for back then, £6,000. Wow. Wow. The whole thing has just basically been sold to donate to this government, which really sticks in the throat given how they squander taxpayers' money. It
is extraordinary, isn't it, that you know, they tax, as he says, the money more than once. That shouldn't be a legal possibility. I mean, surely to heavens. Same goes for pensions, really. They shouldn't be taxing anything that's already been taxed once already.
Yeah, no, it's awful. I think Reform would abolish inheritance tax, and you know, I do hold the Tories accountable on this, because way back before 2010 they promised to do big things on inheritance tax, and each and every year and every budget they failed to do so, and in fact made allowances even worse as inflation kicked in and thresholds weren't moved. So something has to give on this. Britain is actually a bit of an outlier on inheritance tax. I mean, France is very punitive on this, but in America, in many states, it doesn't exist at all, actually. Right. And in New Zealand and Australia, they scrapped it for the very reason that these farmers are protesting about, because its impact is to break up family farms. So they very quickly realised in Australia and New Zealand that if you impose these death duties on farmers and the children who inherit farmland, very quickly your production system is going to take a big hammering.
Yeah, and they'll end up surely as well making it more possible for very wealthy people who don't really want to use the land for farms just to buy them up.
Yes, that could well be an impact of it, people buying land speculatively. It just has any number of really sort of pointless side effects. You know, it's not as if this is going to raise a huge amount of money. No. You know, we talk about vast sums being sent to Mauritius for the Chagos Islands, you know, absolutely dwarfing any receipts from this completely ill-conceived farm inheritance tax levy. And, you know, this government just seems able to bandy around billions of figures quite casually when it comes to things like payments for Mauritius and opening conversations with the Caribbean about slavery reparations. And yet, on a point of principle, they bring in these measures against what they see as Tory voting, landowning toffs. And the reality is that most farmers are not making a great deal of money. Yes, there are a handful of farmers that do very well, but they are really a minority.
Well, it's the same as the story in the Times today.